Hey everyone, and welcome to the very first installment of my series on advanced bull riding skills. This is going to be a series of tutorial videos on bull skills that are a bit beyond the basics. And the first thing we're going to tackle is a really fun one. We're going to learn how to do flyouts. I can't emphasize enough just how exciting it is when you finally get these down. Now, it won't always be easy. It took me a lot of tries before I started landing these, but I'm going to help show you the steps to help hopefully make the process a little bit easier for you, because it really feels like flying when you get that boost out of the bull, get up in the air, and then land back on your wheels. Oh, there's just nothing like it. Guys, a quick message on safety. You almost always see me wearing a helmet when I'm in the skate park, and that's for a good reason. I had a really close call in the past, and I learned my lesson. So this is a trick where you're going to be going full speed, you're going to be getting off the ground. I highly recommend wearing a helmet and some pads, whether you have a lot of experience or not. It just makes you feel more comfortable and will help you commit to landing this trick. The very first thing we're going to need to do this trick properly is speed. This is a trick where you have to have enough speed to get your body and board up over the lip of the bowl. So that might mean you're going straight at this, not doing it integrated into a run in the bowl, and that's fine. Do what you need to start out, and as you get more comfortable, you can integrate it into a line. In my opinion, it's actually safer for this trick to come in with too much speed than too little speed. It's really hard to overshoot this and get completely airborne unless you're dropping down from a mega ramp or something. And if you come with too little speed, that has happened to me before, where I just barely get out of the bowl and then fall back into it, which is far more dangerous than anything you'll get from going too far. So find the best setup in your park that'll give you a line to launch yourself, preferably into an area where there's a bit of a landing zone. Unfortunately, at my park, there isn't much of that, so you kind of have to land your air and then immediately step off when you hit the grass. Foot positioning is really important with this trick. So I like to have my front foot roughly in line with the front axles of my front wheels. So that's a little bit further than I might have it when I'm typically riding. And my back foot, I also like to move that up a little bit forward. When we're starting out, we're not trying to get huge pop. We just want to get over the lip. So you can move it up a little bit closer to the bolts, but you want to have it far back enough that you can still get into a manual. Let's talk about our approach. For this trick, we want to be going straight up that wall. So we're not going at it at an angle. Find a way that you can get yourself straight in line so you can go straight up and out. You want to attack it aggressively, and you want to come in thinking about the same kind of things we talked about when we were going over the bowl basics. You're going to compress as you're getting to the transition, and then you're going to give a bit of an explosive push upwards, so you're unweighting your body so that you get up that wall. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lift your front wheels off the wall. So you're getting into a little bit of a manual. You don't want your front wheels to hit the coping. What's going to happen is your front wheels are going to go past the coping. Your back wheels are going to get a little bump when they hit the coping. And that's the motion that's going to level your board out as you exit the bowl. So we're not looking for an ollie motion here. We don't want to be popping our tail down. That's something as you get more advanced and more expertise in it, you can work into it. At this point, we're just getting those front wheels away from the coping so that we get that natural bump up and over. From this point here, there's two key things we want to do for this next step. You want to let your board go with the flow. So you're going to suck your legs up towards your chest, and that's going to get you some height. That's going to let the natural transition of energy as you're leaving the bowl flow. And at the same time, you're going to be starting to lean your body forward so that you can match your upper body to get roughly parallel with the ground that you're landing on. You are launching from an almost vertical position. You want to make sure that you're getting your body square for that landing. And that brings us to the last step, and maybe the scariest part of this is committing to landing back on the board. When you're starting out, it can be hard to get the board stuck to your feet. So your feet might actually end up a little bit higher than when your board is. You can still pull off a landing, but it's scary. It's like landing a kickflip where your board is separated from you and you have to land back on the ground. There's a few ways to tackle this. One way that I found useful was when I was first getting started, I would go through this entire process, and as I was airing out, I would take my back foot off, so I would try to land one-footed. That let me get a good feel for the motion. It let me feel comfortable with where I was going before I decided to commit to getting both feet for the landing. So you can either get your back foot off to the side or behind your board. And this is something that I think is worth practicing until you get the board landing level with your front foot on the board. But I wouldn't practice it too much because you don't want to develop those bad habits. So get it to the point where you're comfortable and then commit to just getting that back foot on. It's really not too bad once you have the motion down. The key thing is making sure you're in a position where you're not landing off balance, that your body is square. As long as you do that, you keep your knees bent to absorb the landing, you're going to be good. Covering a couple things that could go wrong or things you might need to adjust. When you get airborne, it's an exhilarating feeling, but also one that's not really natural and can be a little bit uncomfortable. And your body might trigger a safety mechanism, and that was happening to me. It was one of the things that held me back from landing this trick. What would happen is as I would go up into the air, I would naturally turn my body front side so that I would land forward. What that meant is my board kept going straight, but I was landing askew with my body, so my feet had no chance of getting back on the board. If you notice that's happening to you, you just have to remember to keep your shoulders square. So you want to be going exactly perpendicular to the coping and keep your shoulders that way throughout the entire process, right to the landing. Try to avoid the tendency to try and feel safe and cop out at the top. The other thing that still happens to me sometimes is coming out of the bowl and ending up a little bit too far in the back seat. So basically you land with only your back wheels touching the ground. This is more common than landing too far forward. So the way I adjust that is basically if it's happening to me, I just make extra effort to try and shift my shoulders forward as soon as I hit that coping. That's a lot of information to take in, so I'd recommend go out and try it. You might have to come back to this video and review afterwards and make some adjustments, but get out there, give it a shot, and let me know if you encounter any problems that you wanted any advice on in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.